Well, let's get more on this now with Nader Hashami, an Associate Professor of Middle East Politics at Georgetown University. He joins us now from Toronto. Good to have you back with us, Professor. The runoff vote this coming Friday will offer a straight ideological choice between the reformist Pezeshkian and conservative Jalili. What are the two candidates promising to deliver?
Well, they're promising to deliver relief from Iran's economic woes. The reformist candidate is promising to, lighten the level of repression that exists against Iranian society by the state. And we're talking about heavy levels of repression. Last year, the United Nations reported that 834 people were executed by the Islamic Republic of Iran, giving you a sense of how repressive the regime is. So those are, it's very, two contrasting perspectives. So the reformist candidate, who it should be emphasized is a conservative reformist, is promising more engagement with the West, with the hope of lifting sanctions to improve the economy. The other candidate, Saeed Jalili, is basically a puppet of the supreme leader. He's hardline oriented. He believes in confrontation with the West. And so those are the two sort of different platforms that are presented to the Iranian voters today.
As we heard, turnout during the first round of voting last Friday was around 40%, which is a record low for an Iranian presidential election since the 1979 revolution. What does this say about the public mood when it comes to how the country is governed?
Well, it says that the public is not interested in these elections, and I put elections in quotes because these are very staged, managed elections. Just to cite one example, 80 people applied to run for president this time around. Only 6 of them were allowed to actually run as candidates. 5 of them hardline candidates, 1 of them a conservative reformist. So, Iranians have been down this road before. Iran has gone through a phase where they've elected reformist presidents, some with huge mandates, but at the end of the day, they've been unable to deliver any substantive change for Iranians because of the structure of power in the Islamic Republic of Iran is not in the hands of its elected officials. Power is located in those unelected institutions of the state, the most important one being the office of the supreme leader, who determines all of the major foreign policy and domestic policy positions. So, Iranians, they're not going to be fooled again. They don't see these elections as delivering any significant prospects for political change. And that's why the vast majority of them didn't participate, in this recent election.
We also know that the United States will be electing a new president in November. It was Donald Trump, when he was in power, who ripped up the 2015 nuclear deal that lifted a range of sanctions on Iran's economy. What are the leaders promising to deliver in terms of Western sanctions?
Well, the reformist candidate is calling for negotiations and the revival of the JCPOA. The nuclear agreement. That is possible should Joe Biden get reelected again or the Democrats win the White House. I think that will actually create the possibility of serious negotiations leading to the revival of the nuclear agreement or some version of the revival of the agreement that was signed in 2015. The other candidate, Saeed Jalili, is calling for more confrontation, the expansion of Iran's nuclear program, doubling down on Iran's destabilizing regional policies, et cetera. So there's two, contrasting different positions here. If Donald Trump gets elected, then I think it's going to be a very dangerous situation for, the entire Middle East, not just on the Israel front, where Donald Trump is calling for Netanyahu to, go in and, quote, finish the job, which means, kill as many Palestinians as you want. But on the Iran front, a Donald Trump presidency would bring us closer to the possibility of another war between the United States and Iran. Recall when Trump was president the last time around, on 3 separate occasions, it looked like the United States and Iran were headed toward a major war, specifically after the assassination of Iran's top general in January 2020, and then Iran sort of firing missiles into American military bases in Iraq. So, the region is already on the precipice of a lot of instability flowing out of the horrific situation in Gaza. If a hardliner gets elected in Iran, which looks most likely next week, and if Donald Trump assumes presidency in Iran, then, the Middle East is, I think headed for a very difficult situation in the coming months and years.
Okay, Nader Hashami, we'll have to leave it there. Thanks as always for joining us on the program.
Thanks.